September 16, 2017, 11:46 p.m. EDT. September 16, 2017, 11:46 p.m. EDT. American football: English. Clemson, Florida; Louisville, Oklahoma State; Tennessee, Tulane, UCLA; Virginia Tech; NCAA Division I, Oklahoma. As soon as number 3 Clemson Harris Jackson and cruised to a 4,721 win over number 14 Louisville, Oklahoma, and Mississippi State cruised to wins. Each week during this year's college football regular season, we will highlight some of the top draft-eligible performers from around the country. Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy last season by putting up video game numbers, especially in the first month of the season. He's been at his best in September, but struggled mightily Saturday against the defending national champions. Number 3 Clemson Harris Jackson and cruised to a 4,721 win over number 14 Louisville at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium. Jackson finished 21 of 42 for 317 yards with 3 touchdowns and an interception that was returned for a touchdown. It was the first interception thrown by Jackson in 138 pass attempts, and he was the victim of several drops by his receivers. Jackson did add 64 rushing yards to break the ACC record for career rushing yards by a quarterback, but did not have the type of performance he wanted to have in front of the several NFL scouts who were at the game. Jackson was outplayed by Clemson's first-year starter Kelly Bryant, who was 22 of 32 for 316 yards and a score. The 6'4", 220-pound junior also ran for 26 yards and 2 scores in the ACC matchup. Bryant wasn't the only quarterback who impressed against a conference opponent. Washington State senior Luke Falk threw for 396 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 37 of 49 night to lead the Cougars to a 5,223 win over Oregon State. The 6'4", 223-pound senior did not throw an interception and now has 900 yards with 9 touchdowns and 1 pick in 3 games. Mississippi State junior Nick Fitzgerald led the Bulldogs to a 377 rout of number 12 LSU. The 65, 230-pound quarterback went 15 of 23 for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran for 88 yards and 2 more scores on 14 carries. 180 pass YDs, 88 rush YDs, 4 total TDs. Nick Fitzgerald out here putting on a show. Pic.twitter.com as 9go, SEC Network at SEC Network. September 17, 2017. Behind senior tackle Martinez Rankin and junior lineman Elgton Jenkins and Deion Calhoun, Mississippi State junior running back Eris Williams added 146 rushing yards on 23 carries. Oklahoma senior quarterback Baker Mayfield continued to be the Heisman frontrunner by throwing for 331 yards and 4 touchdowns without an interception in a 5,614 win over Tulane. Here were a few more of Saturday's top NFL draft-eligible players. Josh Adams, RB, Notre Dame. Adams is a big, 6'2", 225-pound junior and pounded out 229 rushing yards on 18 carries in a 4,920 win over Boston College. Adams did not score, however, as junior quarterback Brandon Wimbish scored 4 times while rushing for 207 yards as the Irish racked up 515 yards on the ground. Adams has been a productive back the last 2 years and runs with power. Duke Dawson, DB, Florida. The 510, 202-pound senior missed a couple of tackles, but he also made a huge stop on second down inside the 10-yard line during the third quarter of Saturday's game against Tennessee. Dawson followed that tackle up with an acrobatic interception at the goal line. Dawson nearly had another interception, but dropped it. He has playmaking ability, but has to be more consistent to have an NFL future. James Hearns, Louisville. The Cardinals were thoroughly beaten by Clemson, but Hearns flashed as a disruptive pass rusher. The 63 senior showed off a nifty spin move and recorded a pair of sacks in a losing effort. Kenny Hill, QB, TCU. Hill isn't exactly mentioned when discussing the top quarterbacks in next year's draft, but the 61, 212-pound TCU senior was nearly perfect against SMU. Hill went 24 of 30 for 365 yards and 4 scores to lead the Frogs to a 5,636 win over the Mustangs. Hill is completing 75% of his passes through 3 games with 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. John Kelly, RB, Tennessee. Kelly is just a junior, but should he decide to enter the draft, he boosted his stock Saturday. Kelly ran for 141 yards on just 19 carries and caught 6 passes for another 96 yards in Tennessee's 2,620 loss to Florida. Dorian O'Daniel, pound, Clemson. After recording 14 tackles and 112 sacks last week in a win over Auburn, the 61, 220-pound senior linebacker returned a Jackson interception 44 yards for a touchdown. O'Daniel has shown himself to be a playmaker the last 2 weeks and has surely drawn the attention of scouts. Dante Pettis, WR, Washington. After breaking the Pac-12 record for career punt returns for touchdowns last season, Pettis tied the NCAA record of 8 returns for scores by taking a Fresno State punt 77 yards to the house in the first quarter of Washington's blowout win. Dante Pettis can't be stopped. Purple Run watch at Pac-12 Network pic.twitter.com/UW UW football at UW_football September 17, 2017. The 61, 195-pound Dynamo also scored 3 times through the air and even completed a 36-yard pass in the rout. Cam Phillips, WR, Virginia Tech. The Hokies senior had a huge day at East Carolina. Phillips set a single-game school record with 14 receptions for 189 yards and 3 scores in the 6,417 victory. The 6-foot senior is coming off a career year and already has 27 catches for 417 yards and 5 touchdowns this season. Josh Rosen, QB, UCLA. The junior put up some big numbers Saturday: 3,456, 463 yards, 4 TDs, but gave up a pick-six on a pass into traffic and threw another interception late in the fourth quarter of the Bruins' 4,845 loss to Memphis. Mason Rudolph, QB, Oklahoma State. Regarded as a potential top 10 pick, the 65, 230-pound senior burned Pittsburgh for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that was in the first 18:38 of their game. Rudolph finished the game completing 23 of 32 attempts for 497 yards with 5 TDs and an interception in OK State's 5,921 victory. Chase Winovich, Michigan. The 63, 253-pound senior was a wrecking crew against Air Force with 9 tackles, 2 for loss, and 112 sacks. Wolverines senior linebacker Mike McRae added a gamma-high 11 tackles with 2 for loss in Michigan's 2,913 victory.